Fly here, hope you're well. Now, it's the end of another month. February has come and gone. Where is the year going? I do not know. Which means it's time for me to do my monthly roundup of the UK motorcycling press. Specifically, I've got 4 issues again of MCN to go through and just pick out some of the highlights of the things that have been going on in the motorcycling world this month. So stick around, stay tuned for the next couple of minutes and I'll just talk you through some of the articles that have been catching my eye this month. Okay, so the first paper of the month then is this one. Just got a couple of stories I want to highlight here. First thing, now I'm not quite sure what to say about this, but this fella, Carl Fogarty, I know massive motorcycling superstar and everything, but he's in all the papers all the time, any bike shows you go to, anything you open up it seems about motorcycling, Carl Fogarty's face is there. Now, I've never met the guy, I bear him no malice, he is obviously a fantastic rider, great titles to his name, brilliant chap, lovely man I'm sure, and I mean him no harm or whatever, but he's just a bit of a funny looking fella, so he can't help that. He's got these strange eyes. It's not his fault, but I just don't want to be looking at him in every paper I open. I've said before, I'm not a massive sports fan, so although I appreciate his skill, I'm not, it doesn't do anything for me seeing Carl Fogarty at these events. Clearly it works because he's at everything, so I'm in the wrong, he's in the right. I don't mean to be nasty, but I just wondered, is it just me that thinks that, or is there something more going on? So that's just a small point, kind of part of that. It's a bit nasty to start with, but it's a view that I've been kind of forming. Okay, so moving swiftly on. The next story I picked out here is this one. Now, I think we've talked about these before on this feature. This is the new for 2017 BMW R1200GS Rallye and exclusive, I think they call them the other one. Yes, the exclusive. They brought out basically 2 new models of GS to get them Euro 4 compliant so that they can continue to sell them, obviously, in Europe. Rumour has it that next year, or for the next model year, there'll be a brand new GS. So I think, and that is just a rumour, I don't know why I think that, I just do. This really then is sort of a holding model, just to sort of, it's almost like an end of run parts bin special is how I view it. But it does look good. So, I mean, the Rallye, it's got some new graphics on it, which I think look great. The Rallye itself is sort of meant to be a bit more hardcore off-roady, so it's got higher suspension, so the seat height now, at standard on that, is 900mm, so it makes an already tall bike even taller. But I think it looks great. The only thing I'm not keen on is the windscreen. They've got this chopped down screen on it that I can't believe works that well, given the full size one needs a little bit of help in my opinion. But I just don't think that looks great. But there we go, it's just a styling issue. So that looks nice, but I think it is just a holding bike. And then to go with the Rallye, there's also the other one, the more on-road focused, what they're calling the exclusive, and here they've got a small article on the TE version, which is the one that most people buy in this country at least. And again, there's some styling tweaks and some engine and electronics changes mainly. No big deal, but it mainly gets it up to Euro 4 standards. So I'm sure come the end of the year you're going to get some bargains on these bikes as the new models start to get announced. Maybe, we'll see. Okay, so that's all I had from the first paper of the month, so let's file that over there. Okay, a couple of stories from this issue. This is the February the 8th issue. First thing that I want to pull out here was this incredible story. This is about MV Augusta and the fact that a number of people have bought bikes in this country and then it's turned out that they've not actually owned them. There's been some sort of cock-up with paperwork and it means that the ownership still resides with a finance company in Italy. And they reckon there's about 50 bikes or 50 people that have bought bikes in this country where maybe they're not actually the legal owner. Unbelievable story. I don't, I'm not really making any comment on it other than how unusual is that? I mean, some of these people bought bikes that had trade plates on still, so they sort of smelt a bit of a rat, but bizarre, interesting story. It's a bit of a shame. It's another blot, isn't it, on MV Augusta's copybook, because they make some absolutely beautiful bikes, but they seem to get, I don't know, pressed for the wrong reasons these days, which is such a shame when they make such beautiful looking bikes, but there we go. As you know, I'm a fan of Italian bikes. Okay, the other article I picked out here is this one. It's an article actually looking at the new MT09 or the upgraded version of the MT09 over the 2016 model. And this, again, really is just a cosmetic exercise. The new bike being made to look much more like the MT10. Now, the look of this new bike is very divisive. It splits opinions, but I personally think it looks absolutely brilliant. I love the way they've got the lights looking like its bigger brother, the MT10 now. I just think it looks mean. And I also like the sort of almost plasticky looking, this reminds me of an Airfix kit, this grey colour that it has, and I love the day glow wheels. I'm I'm very simple like that. I'm a bit of a tart, and I love bikes that look like that. So I think it's a huge improvement over the older model. The thing is, it costs an extra £600 to have that. There are some other changes as well. I think it's gained a quick shifter now as well as some other bits and pieces. So the question that they're posing in MCN is it worth an extra 600 quid? Well, I think just for the looks personally it is, and I can't wait to ride one of these. I keep pestering my local Yamaha dealer. They haven't got a demo at the moment, but as soon as they do, I'm going to jump on one of those cheeky triples. I really loved the XSR 900 when I rode that recently, and I just think this is going to be maybe a bit more of a, you know, an angry version of that. So looking forward to riding the MT-09. Stick around, stay tuned for that review. So that was it for that paper. Right, the third issue of the month. Again, just a couple of stories I've picked out here. Firstly, this one. They've got a little article in here about Herald Motorcycles, and this is one of these companies that brings in bikes from China. I think they're probably based on Sinis bikes again, and they do some work on them and then rebadge and resell them as these really cool little custom bikes. Now, the reason I pulled this out is because I did a video recently, which you may have seen, on the Mutt Mongrel, which is a similar sort of idea, although subtly different. The difference being the Herald guys basically buy in the completed bikes, and then they replace some parts that they think are a bit substandard. So they put new fluids in it, they put new brake discs on, they put new spark plugs in, that sort of thing, and there are various other things they replace. And then they make them look really cool, and then they can sell them on for ridiculously cheap prices. So, for example, their 125 version of the bike, they sell for £1,750. Absolutely incredible. So I know people have you know, mixed views on Chinese bikes. I personally, I've only, you know, ridden one once, and I thought it was fine, but I don't know what the longevity is, but that price, absolutely incredible. Even if you only used it for a year instead of buying your season ticket into London on the train, then you're going to be quids in and you're going to have had a lot of fun. So that's really interesting. The difference between this and the Mutt Mongrel that I reviewed is that the guys at Mutt Motorcycles buy in the parts from China as opposed to fully assembled bikes, and then they choose the parts that they think are going to work, which includes a very similar, if not the same looking Suzuki licensed engine, and then make their own bikes. And they're a little bit more expensive, not much, but they're still bargain bikes. But I personally love this. I mean, once I posted that video on the Mutt Mongrel, I had some feedback from people saying, oh, Chinese bikes, don't touch them, these are rubbish. But if you can get a bike that looks super cool like this, sounds amazing, and is cheap to buy, and it gets new bikers into the game, then why not do it? I'm all for it. I think they just look fantastic. So good luck to Herald and good luck to Mutt. So that was that one. And then the next story I picked out here, the big one, I guess, for this month. This is, in my mind at least, I think this is the biggest news story of the month. The brand new Triumph Street Triple has broken cover in terms of going public for us to actually see it, and also the press journos have now ridden the thing. And I think, without a doubt, with I don't think there are any exceptions. Of all the reviews I've read, everybody's absolutely blown away by this motorcycle and how it feels and how it's improved over the old model. So again, really can't wait to get hold of one of these. I'm hoping that those nice guys at Triumph are going to let me borrow one on a long-term loan. Haven't got that confirmed yet. I don't have any dates, but I'm hoping that that's going to happen. As you probably know, I'm a massive Street Triple fan, so really excited to get a go on this bike. I went down to the MCN London show last Saturday, specifically just to have a look at this, and again, I posted a video just looking around the bike. I have to say, just looking at it, it's just another Street Triple. I mean, they have upped their game with the quality. It's got that sort of fit and finish that new Triumphs now have, with some nice little detailed touches like little engine embellishers and things like that, which look nice. But the bike fundamentally looks just like any Street Triple has done, in my mind, for the last sort of, however long they've been out, 6 or 7 years. And I personally have to say, and this is something that always happens with these Triumph Roadsters, I don't actually like these lights at all. I think when they changed them on the Speed Triple, I thought it was a retro step, and now I don't like them on the Speed either. Similarly with a little air intake on the front nose, I just don't think it looks so good. Maybe I'm biased because I've got the older model that's got the sort of pentagonal lights, which I think look great. But it's a small point. It wouldn't put me off the bike. It's just the way it is. I personally prefer the old lights, but there we go. But there's no doubt all the reviews have been absolutely rave and stonking about the bike. Apparently it handles and it goes, and it's just an amazing bit of kit. It's got this whizzy new dash as well, a TFT dash. Why all bike manufacturers don't put them on, I don't know, because they can't be that expensive to make now, surely. And it's going to be a massive seller for Triumph. So well done, Triumph. Once again, I think a cracking bike's out. Really can't wait to ride that. That's going to be the bike of the year for me, I think, without even riding it. It's the bike I'm looking forward to riding the most. So come on, Triumph, let me have one. All right, so that's that's that. And then last but not least, the final issue. This is this week's issue. A few stories I've picked out here. Number one, there was just, obviously they've done a bit of a review of their own show. That was the London Motorcycle Show this week. I mentioned I went along just to have a look at the Street Triple. Enjoyed my time there, and thanks to those of you that came and said hello to me. It was great. Saw a few people that I want to see there, missed a few as well, so hi Bruce if you're watching. So yeah, enjoyed the show, but I have to say I also went to the Birmingham show, and the two really do kind of, you know, one has much the same stuff as the other. The London one being after didn't have obviously as many new unveils. It did have the Street Triple that obviously the Birmingham show didn't have. But I don't think there's any need to go to both shows. So next year, I'm not sure whether I'll go to Birmingham or London or neither perhaps. But I didn't have a great experience. It was a nice day riding up there on Saturday. I went up on my bike, which I don't often do, but as it was in London, I thought I'd take the bike. And it'd been badged as easy to take your bike because you didn't have to pay extra parking. You could park your bike undercover in a secure spot. And it said for a small donation you could hand your kit in as well, and that would be stored safely as well. So I thought that all sounded good. But I got there fairly late in the day, and unfortunately all the undercover parking was gone, so I had to leave my bike outside, which wasn't actually a problem in the end. I locked it up obviously, and there were lots of other bikes there too, so, and you know, it was there when I got back, wasn't stolen, so that's all fine. But that was a little bit not quite what I was after. And then got myself de-kitted, de-banged, took all my kit to what was then a massive queue of people trying to get their kit back because I'd got there a bit late, out of the sort of helmet park as they call it. And then I noticed that I think it was £1 per item, and I had, you know, 2 boots, trousers, helmet, jacket, and I just thought, I don't want to spend yet another £5 just on storing my kit. So I ended up walking around the show wearing my kit, which wasn't great. So I went in there in a bit of a grumpy mood, to be honest. But no reflection really on the show. That's just how it worked out for me. If you've never been to one of these shows, do encourage you to go along because they are great to see everything in one place. Very, very busy there, and of course because of the Street Triple launch and breaking cover, the Triumph stand was absolutely heaving. So yeah, enjoyed that, but you know, just be prepared for, they're a bit hassle getting to these shows. That's all I'll say on that. Okay, the next story out of here. Oh, a KTM story. I've got a KTM on the screen this time. You will have noticed that I've gone a bit KTM centric of late. Recently got to know the guys up at the KTM Centre in Hemel Hempstead. Lovely bunch of guys. They've got a brand new showroom up there. It looks absolutely fantastic. And lucky for me, they're quite happy for me to ride their bikes. So this is the review on the 1290 Super Adventure, and I posted a video on this I think earlier this week. I got to ride the brand new Super Adventure T, which is the touring focused version, which doesn't have these funny new looking lights on the front, which I actually think look nice in this case. Again, lights for some reason making all the news. They split opinion. I think on the KTM they actually improved the looks of the bike. But the reason why I picked the story up was really having now ridden the Super Adventure. It really is a nice bike. I mean, it feels very much like a GS Adventure when you ride it, but much more lighter with a much more hungry engine. So I guess it's down to whether you like the looks of them and whether you like the features that it offers over what you can get on, say, a GS Adventure. But BMW really now have got their work cut out. The competitors are very much at the same level, if not better, than their bikes are coming out with the GS. So when they come out with their new GS, it's really got to be something amazingly special. Goodness knows what they're going to do, because these KTMs now really are amazing bikes. So stick around and stay tuned for some more KTM reviews coming up on this channel soon, including this beast, the Super Duke R. Unbelievable bike. Really enjoyed that one. Okay, next story here. Oh, in fact, this is again, I said it's going to be KTM centric. This is another KTM. This is the baby adventure bike, the 1090, which replaces the 1050. And I rode this one this week, actually. I think on Monday, I think I rode this one. Again, lovely, lovely bike, really light and flickable. It's up there competing with things like the new Multistrada 950, maybe the Tiger 800 perhaps. And also having ridden and still riding the big Triumph Tiger Sport that I'm borrowing from Triumph at the moment, it was an interesting bike to ride. And this, again, absolutely lovely bike. The others have really got their work cut out. The engine in this thing was just amazing. I mean, it was a brand new bike. It had 2 miles on the clock, but it went like stink. And really enjoy riding it. Again, KTMs, there's a bit of a thing about them. I don't know if it's the orange thing or what, but they don't always do design quite right, do they? To me, this isn't a bad looking bike, but I'm not sure I'd open the garage and think, oh, that's my bike, that is. And I like that about motorcycles. I like that they sort of get into you, get to your heart sort of thing. But and the KTM so far, with maybe one exception, haven't done that for me. So anyway, that's the 1090. If you're in that sort of market, definitely give one of those a ride. I think you're going to like the bike. And then last but not least for this little roundup, This story here, coincidentally, MCN have done a big multi-page feature all about bike security this week, and this is something that's very much in my mind because last Sunday I went and met up with Michael Knight of the UK motorcycle theft protest, and again you may have seen my video I posted yesterday on the state of motorcycle theft, particularly in London, and the campaign that he's involved in. So it's interesting that MCN have done that as well. So them doing a feature on KTM and theft this week, it was like we were great minds think alike and all that. But there we go. So very interesting article. Have a look at my video. It covers lots of the same grounds if you haven't seen it, and just get savvy with what's going on out there. If you're parking your bikes in cities, there are things you can do in terms of putting locks and dislocks and so on your bike and making them look less attractive to thieves. Get yourself a tracker fitted. It's just getting silly out there. It's just nuts. Anyway, the reason I picked this article up in particular was not just to say great minds think alike, but also it lists what are the most popular bikes to be stolen. And interestingly, number 1 on the list is the Tramp Street Triple, and number 2 is the BMW R1200GS. So I've had 2 bikes which I own myself, so I'm going to be overly careful now, particularly when I go into London. To be honest, when I go into London, I tend not to get off and leave my bike anywhere anyway, or not, you know, it's in eye shot. But these bikes are super popular for stealing, so if you've got one, just be careful out there. All right, so that was it for this month. Quite a busy month on the news front for a change. Things are starting to look up. Spring is trying to sprung, if that makes sense. Yeah, things are hotting up in the old bike world. So it's been a great month as far as I'm concerned, and looking forward to the summer, better weather, getting out there riding some more. So hope that was of some interest to you, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. Until then, this has been the Mist and Fly. Cheerio.